What you talking about, Will?
Join me. You may be able to help solve a mystery.
Which lineup ruled primetime? We're not picking the winners. You are. Remember when TV was simple? You sat down, flipped to NBC, and let the night unfold? But not all Wednesdays were created equal. In this video, we're putting two fall lineups head to head. NBC Wednesday Night Fall 1980 versus Fall of 1990. Same night, same network, wildly different vibes, and hair. Now, there's zero judgment from us. Okay, maybe there's a little bit, but this time, you're the critic. Before we get started, hit like, subscribe, and drop your votes in the comments for each matchup. Now, let's get into round 1, 8 p.m. in 1980, Real People versus 1990, Unsolved Mysteries. Let's kick things off with the ultimate vibe shift. In 1980, NBC wanted to make you feel good, so they gave us Real People, the show that proved that America was already weird long before reality TV had a name. Picture pre-Instagram America's humans. Roller skating goats, pumpkin racers, geriatric cheerleaders, disco grandmas, and a woman who lived out her food fantasies on camera. No celebs, no drama, just real people doing weird, wonderful stuff.
I was actually crying. I could not believe it. It was the most moving moment of my life.
The format was simple. A panel of charming, sometimes corny hosts. Sarah Purcell, Skip Stevenson, and a young Byron Allen long before he bought half of cable TV. They would banter in front of a live studio audience, introduce segments on small-town eccentrics, and award Real People t-shirts to viewers who mailed in photos of funny road signs.
If we use them on the air, we'll send you a Real People t-shirt. So,
it was peak 1980s wholesomeness, and the show was a hit. In its early years, Real People was NBC's biggest ratings winner, at a time when the rest of the network was flopping harder than a current NBA player. Too far? Alright, too far. It even helped launch the career of Richard Simmons, who bounded into America's living rooms in dolphin shorts screaming about fitness and kale, probably. The show ran for 5 seasons and inspired a wave of imitators like That's Incredible, and shows that tried to tap that same quirky America vibe, like That's My Line, even if the format wasn't quite the same. It even spawned a kid-hosted spin-off, Real Kids, starring a pre-A Christmas Story Peter Billingsley. Spoiler alert, that one flopped harder than Scut Farkus after Ralphie punched him out. And yes, it was spoofed. Mad Magazine dubbed the wave of copycats That's Real Incredible People, and SNL took their shots too. You know you've made it when you get parodied in both print and primetime. Now let's cut to the 90s, and NBC had officially had enough of happy humans. Now they wanted you afraid to answer your door. Enter Unsolved Mysteries. By 1990, the show had evolved from its 1987 to 88 run of specials, with various hosts including Raymond Burr and Carl Malden, into a full-blown weekly series led by the ultimate grave-voiced host Robert Stack.
The class had already helped close one case, the slaying of a taxi driver in 1992.
Always in that signature trench coat, forever stoic, always looking like he just saw a ghost, which, let's be honest, he probably did. This wasn't just true crime, it was everything. Homicide cases, missing persons, haunted houses, alien abductions, lost heirs, amnesia victims, insurance fraud, and stories about ancient vortexes of energy under your living room. The reenactments were just cheesy enough to give you nightmares, and that eerie theme song composed by Michael Boyd and Gary Ramal Malkin made brushing our teeth feel like a demonic ritual. But what made Unsolved Mysteries truly groundbreaking was the interactive element. After each story, a toll-free number flashed across the screen asking viewers for tips, and believe it or not, Real People actually helped solve real cases. It wasn't just spooky TV, it was public service with fog machines. Oh, and fun fact, a pre-famed Matthew McConaughey played a homicide victim in a 1992 reenactment. Yeah, alright. Someone called the cops.
alright.
And while Real People lives on in VHS rips and memory lane, Unsolved Mysteries is still haunting our screens thanks to a Netflix reboot that's been dropping new episodes since 2020. There's no host this time, but Robert Stack still makes a ghostly cameo in the intro, which somehow makes it creepier. So what'll it be? the t-shirt giveaways and roller skating goats of real people, or the trench coats and chilling cold cases of unsolved mysteries. You decide. Drop your vote in the comments below, just don't turn off the lights before you do. Round 2, 8:30 p.m. Diff'rent Strokes in 1980 versus the Fanelli Boys in 1990. This one's like putting a pop culture juggernaut in the ring with a scrappy underdog that barely made it out of the corner. Let's start with Diff'rent Strokes, the show that helped define NBC's comedy lineup in the late 70s and early 80s.
The world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Aha! You're here. Welcome, gentlemen.
You already know the story. Arnold and Willis Jackson, two kids from Harlem, get adopted by a rich white guy in a Park Avenue penthouse. The setup alone was network catnip, but the real magic was Gary Coleman. At just 4 feet 8 inches tall with the most expressive eyebrows in sitcom history, Coleman became a megastar thanks to one simple line.
What you talking about, Willis?
That catchphrase turned into a cultural monument and launched a merchandising empire. Coleman had lunchboxes, action figures,
Oh boy, I should have done my homework. I might have learned how to shift gears. In fact, I wish I was doing my homework right now.
even a Saturday morning cartoon, and starring roles in made-for-TV movies. But Diff'rent Strokes wasn't just punchlines and penthouses, it became famous for its very special episodes. The kind that went from laugh track to dead serious in under 30 seconds.
He gave us some pizza and wine.
What else went on there?
He showed us some pictures. Everybody was naked.
Drug abuse, racism, alcoholism, and kidnapping. And yes, that episode. You know the one. Gordon Jump as the bicycle shop owner, aired in primetime on NBC in 1983, and America watched. We covered that episode in a previous video, links in the description. The show ran for 8 seasons and 181 episodes from 1978 to 1986. It changed networks, rotated housekeepers like a sitcom carousel, survived backstage drama, multiple cast shakeups, and even Gary Coleman's legal battles with his own parents. And yet, it's still remembered as one of the most important and impactful sitcoms of its era. Now let's fast forward to 1990, and NBC introduced the Fanelli Boys. Let's just say it didn't have a catchphrase or much else that stuck, really.
I saw Tracy last night, and I told her that you were sick, and then I lied to you about her going out with Johnny DeSanto.
That's all?
Yeah.
What'd you do that for?
The setup was simple. 4 grown Italian-American brothers all moved back in with their widowed mother in Brooklyn after various life implosions. There was Frankie, played by a very pre-SVU Christopher Maloney, licking his wounds after a breakup.
Brooks, I'm gonna tell you what I think. You tried to kill Christina so your wife wouldn't find out you were banging her.
Then there was Dom, played by future Soprano star and Emmy winner Joe Pantoliano, who was between business ventures, hustles. Ronnie, the dropout, was played by Andy Hirsch, and Anthony, the responsible one who was stuck running the family funeral home, was played by Ned Eisenberg. Their mom was played by Ann Morgan Gilbert, who you might remember as Millie from The Dick Van Dyke Show and later Grandma Yetta on The Nanny. The show opened with a literal funeral and kind of never recovered.
I hope you don't mind, Ma. I invited a girl to dinner.
Mind? After what I just heard, I'm delighted.
Created by the team behind The Golden Girls and Empty Nest, expectations were high. Critics, however, were mixed. Entertainment Weekly gave it a D, while People magazine tossed it a B+. Even the Los Angeles Times said it had promise if it could find its footing. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Fun fact though, Golden Girls alum Estelle Getty guest starred, not as Sophia, but as Dr. Newman. So, no official crossover, but definitely one of those, hey, isn't that moments. The show limped through 19 episodes before disappearing into purgatory, but hey, Christopher Maloney still had his hair, and the theme song kind of sounded like Billy Joel had a cousin who played weddings in Queens. So, let's recap. One show gave us decades of reruns, very special episodes, spin-offs, and a merchandising empire. The other gave us 19 episodes, a funeral, and a glimpse at future Emmy Gold. Which one do you remember more? Drop your vote in the comments below before Dom talks you into a pyramid scheme that you don't want to be involved in. Now, if you're enjoying this battle of the decades, hit like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. Now, let's get back to the showdown with round 3. At 9 p.m. we had The Facts of Life in 1980 versus Dear John in 1990. NBC at 9 p.m. in 1980 said, let's hang out at an all-girls prep school and work through some feelings. NBC at 9 p.m. in 1990 said, let's go full existential crisis in a church basement with a bunch of divorcees. Welcome to round 3. Let's start with The Facts of Life, a spin-off of Diff'rent Strokes that didn't just survive on its own, it thrived. 201 episodes, 9 seasons, 2 TV movies, and 1 unforgettable theme song that practically raised a generation.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
Now admit it, you just sang it. Edna Garrett, the Drummonds' housekeeper, packed up her apron and moved on to become house mother at Eastland School in Peekskill, New York. And in the fall of 1980, it was holding down the Wednesday night 9 p.m. slot right after Arnold and Willis. Originally, the show followed a larger cast of girls at the prep school, but after season 1, producers felt there were too many characters for a half-hour sitcom, so they trimmed the cast. Writing out Cindy, Sue Ann, Nancy, and Molly, season 2 brought a major shift. The addition of Joe Polnicek, the street-smart Bronx biker played by Nancy McKeon, whose arrival shook things up and helped lock in the show's winning formula.
Things change, Joe. People move on.
Good. Move on.
From that point forward, The Facts of Life focused on its core 4, Blair, Joe, Tootie, and Natalie, as Mrs. Garrett guided them through everything from dating disasters and body image struggles to class warfare and one truly terrifying very special episode about hitchhiking. It was sitcom comfort food with the occasional gut punch. And if you ever wondered what George Clooney looked like with a mullet, look no further. He was a recurring character in seasons 7 and 8, playing handyman George Burnett in 17 episodes.
What were you doing in Kuwait?
I was working for an American company building hot tubs for Kuwaiti homes.
Other feature stars stopped by too. Helen Hunt, Juliette Lewis, Seth Green, Mayim Bialik, Gene Smart, and Richard Dean Anderson. Plus, musical guests like Jermaine Jackson and Elle DeBarge, and crossover visits from Todd Bridges and Gary Coleman as their Diff'rent Strokes characters. The show earned 3 Emmy nominations, including one for Charlotte Rae, and later a TV Land Pop Culture Award in 2011.
Honored to present the TV Land Pop Culture Award to the cast of The Facts of Life.
Accepting for The Facts of Life from Mindy Cohn.
It also broke ground with Jerry Jewell, the first actor with cerebral palsy to have a recurring role in a primetime series. The bottom line is this: The Facts of Life was funny, heartfelt, and always evolving, just like the young women it portrayed.
Whew, Joe really popped you one, didn't she?
Thanks for the ice, Tootie.
Is this what they mean by the right hand of God?
Now, fast forward to 1990 and say hello to Dear John. Judd Hirsch played John Lacey, a prep school teacher whose wife leaves him via a letter. A Dear John letter. Get it? Yeah, the 90s were subtle like that. Anyway, newly divorced and emotionally wrecked, he joins the 1-to-1 Club, a support group full of lovable disasters. The real charm was the ensemble. Jane Carr as Louise, the sex-obsessed British group leader who made everyone's bedroom issues her business. Jerry Burns as Kirk, the smarmy, pathological liar with the charm of a used car salesman and the hair of a shampoo commercial. Harry Groner as Ralph, the toll booth worker with a nervous giggle and Muppet vibes. And Billy Bird as Mrs. Filbert, a vodka in her purse grandmother who looked like she'd been day drinking since World War II.
My husband used to dress like a gladiator and make me pull his chariot.
Dear John ran for 4 seasons and 90 episodes from 1988 to 1992. Now, it never made headlines, but it did make an impression. Judd Hirsch won a Golden Globe for his performance, and Cleavon Little, best known for Blazing Saddles, took home a Primetime Emmy Award for a powerful guest turn as a closeted gay man navigating life after divorce. The rest of the guest list is surprisingly stacked. Woody Harrelson showed up as the father of Louise's child, Seriously. Broadway icon Gwen Verdon played a long-lost love, and there were memorable appearances from Morgan Brittany, Jeffrey DeMunn, and George Hearn. So, who won this round in your opinion? The Facts of Life gave us teen drama, growing pains, and one of the most iconic theme songs of the decade, while Dear John gave us midlife crises, ensemble chaos, and a sitcom that wasn't afraid to get awkwardly real. Let us know which one owned 9 p.m. in your house. Bonus points if you ever found yourself humming both theme songs in the same week. Round 4, 10 p.m. Quincy Emmy in 1980 versus Hunter, 1990. Alright folks, we've made it to the 10 p.m. slot, and if the earlier shows were dinner, these were the gritty leftovers. In 1980, NBC served up Quincy M.E., Jack Klugman, as the most passionately irate coroner on television.
She's not so cute anymore. She OD'd. She's downstairs hooked up to a respirator trying to live through the night.
Oh, that's too bad, Doc. But what are you laying all this on me for?
Because you put her there.
He didn't just examine bodies, he solved crimes, delivered fiery monologues, and routinely yelled at bureaucrats mid-autopsy. Before CSI, before Crossing Jordan, even before Diagnosis Murder, there was Quincy, armed with a microscope and a moral compass. For 8 seasons and 148 episodes from 1976 to 1983, Quincy shouted and lectured his way through cases, slicing open not just corpses, but hot-button issues like child abuse, eating disorders, drunk driving, and the dangers of punk rock, because yes, that was an actual episode.
Well, everything but the man. Here, take a look. Anybody touch this chain? I didn't even see it in there.
Every week, he'd clash with bureaucrats who just didn't care while laughing into righteous monologues mid-autopsy. He made yelling in a lab coat look heroic. Klugman didn't just play Quincy, he was Quincy. Off-screen, he pushed for the show to tackle controversial issues and even testified before Congress about orphan diseases. Because apparently solving fictional crimes wasn't enough, he wanted to change real laws too. Add in his right-hand man Sam, played by Robert Ito, skeptical boss Dr. Aston, played by John S. Reagan, and the externally exasperated Lieutenant Monahan, played by Gary Wahlberg, and you've got a formula that blended forensic drama with weekly morality plays. It wasn't subtle, but it worked.
Quincy, we searched every nook and cranny of Ganziano's house, and we didn't find any chain or necklace even remotely similar to this.
Well, it wasn't found on or near her body.
Well, it could have fallen off when they moved the body.
But suppose it didn't. Suppose it broke off while he strangled her.
Fast forward to 1990, and NBC decided to swap microscopes for magnums. Enter Hunter, Fred Dreyer as Rick Hunter, a rogue cop who played by his own rules, kicked down doors, bent every procedure in the book, and still managed to look good while doing it.
Did you kill Meg Harris on purpose, or was it an accident?
Meg Harris?
That was her name. That girl had a name.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Sergeant.
We have an eyewitness that saw what you did.
This was NBC's answer to Dirty Harry meets Miami Vice, complete with shoulder pads, saxophones, and enough squibs to take out a Buick dealership. Dreyer, who wasn't just acting tough, actually was tough. Before TV stardom, he played 13 seasons in the NFL as a defensive end, racked up over 100 sacks, and remains the only player in league history to score 2 safeties in a single game. He even made it to the Super Bowl with the Rams. So yeah, when Rick Hunter broke a suspect's arm and muttered something gruff about justice, you believed him. Hunter ran for 7 seasons and 153 episodes from 1984 to 1991. By fall of 1990, it was anchoring the Wednesday night slot with big explosions, big hair, and an even bigger saxophone-laced theme. But the show's not just about muscle. Its heart came from Hunter's partner, Sergeant Dee Dee McCall, played by Stephanie Kramer. She was smart, tough, stylish, and fully capable of throwing a perp through a windshield. Their chemistry wasn't just TV gold, it gave the show a soul.
No shucks, Sherlock. The one time I really need backup and you make like Houdini and vanish.
Well, I'm sorry, but I ran into a couple of your pals. Some good old boys who didn't want me messing with little old Pumpkin. Well, they intercepted me before I had a chance to follow the Bronco, which is gone.
That could have just been some guy who was turned on enough to follow me home.
So, what'll it be? Quincy, where justice was delivered via lab report, clipboard, and the occasional grandstanding speech, or Hunter, where the city exploded weekly and justice came with a .44 Magnum and a smirk? Drop your verdict in the comments, and don't worry, Quincy probably already filled out the paperwork. And there you have it, 4 head-to-head matchups. Which shows were your favorites, and which year was the grand champion, 1980 or 1990? We're not crowning a winner because you are. Want to see more matchups like this? What about ABC Fridays, CBS Mondays? Let us know below and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, this is Remember When.